Hey, my name is Dominique Kennedy, and I tell stories about conversations. It's graduation season, and I have had my fair share of graduation parties, graduation ceremonies, all the things leading up to graduations for not only our high school students, but also our college students, both undergrad and grad. So this is the season that we're in. This is something I'm super excited about, something I've been a part of, both like actively planning, but also able to join in the festivities for, because I've been invited to some things that I'm happy to say I've been able to celebrate some grads, and being a part of someone's ceremony, their graduation party, being a part of this very pivotal transitional time is something I'm really excited about and really excited to celebrate for those who are involved. So I was talking to my husband about like not only this celebration time, but also some of the things that we place like weight on, some of the things that we highlight when it comes to graduates, specifically the whole like, what do you call it? The Latin honors, if you will. So that sum laude, cum laude, the magna cum laude, all the things. And I was like, you know what? I am so here for it because if you have put in the work or at least put in the time to maintain a level of high achievement is what I'll call it for now in this part of the conversation. But if you've maintained that level of like consistency in how you submit your work or the quality of work or the outcomes of your work, like I'm so excited for you. That is amazing. And I can't even really deny the fact that I too was a person who at the time of my graduation and things like strived for those particular things. I can't tell you in this conversation like which level I reached for college, but I can say that for high school, I was definitely in the top 10% of my class. And that was something I was very, very proud of. But, you know, and thinking about that and talking about that with my husband, I was like, you know what, it's a high honor. If our children decide to strive for that, great. If they achieve that, great. I also told him, you know what, if they don't, it's okay. And that's great too. And here's why. So number one, my husband was not in the category of students who were the sum cum laude, magna cum laude, cum laude. I'm probably not even saying it correctly in this conversation, but you understand what I'm talking about. He was the kind of student where, you know what, he got the work done. He generally got the work done on time, or he at least was given a grace period and took advantage of that grace period to get his work in on time. He also was a student who had things that he was proud of outside of school. He was a student who was proud of his art and his relationships with family and the ways in which he was able to plug into community and support his family and, explore an interest. He was okay with that. He also understood that there was a cost with achieving that level, that high honor of like the 3.5, the 4.0, the whatever. And it's not even that he couldn't do it. It's that he placed his weight in other areas, like developing himself, like striving to get better in a particular area that he felt good in. And I have a lot of respect for that because when I look at my husband, I see the most amazing person, the most like accomplished person, and the most content person. I jokingly said to my husband, you are kind of like this, know everything, a little bit about everything at least, can do many things. I mean, by hand and intellectually. And you have like this, like, almost like this island boy, unbothered way about you because you are very content. You are very content in who you are as a person. You are very content in what God placed in you and whose you are. And you are very content in knowing like I always have something to do. Like, not like the checking boxes way, but always having something to feel good about putting your hands to, or solving or figuring out, or, it's not just a hobby that you play multiple instruments and, have all these different ways in which you've mastered things with your hands and things with your mind. It's just like you consistently challenge yourself in areas, and for like, it's not for the accolades and the way in which we strive to be seen. It's truly because there's this internal drive, and you just literally always have something that you're doing. So, seeing him and seeing how, quite honestly, seeing how some of the students are coming up now, even in my generation, but like seeing how some of the students are coming up now, and the way in which they have like 15 clubs and 15 leadership organizations and 15 like sports and like 15 things that they're involved in at one given time. And I'm talking not just like a member. I'm talking you're the president, you're the vice president, you're on the executive board, you're like the chair, you're like starting a foundation, like all the things. And these are not things that I think are like not great. It's just the things that we do, not just to be seen, but to call ourselves worthy and feel good about ourselves. And then I contrast that with my husband, who never did those things. I don't even know if he was really in a club like that. Like, I know he did some kind of like Pop Warner, or maybe it was Pee Wee level, or some kind of football when he was younger. I know that he was a part of a performing arts school, but I don't really think he was like in a bunch of clubs. And I know he didn't talk about being like on the exec board for things. So he's just accomplished and he's just content. And I'm like, that's great too. So find the thing that you can feel accomplished in. Find the thing that you can be content with. So we were talking about that. And honestly, he didn't even say a whole lot about it. He just pretty much said like that was just not the thing that I was motivated by. He was like, that was not the thing that I strive for. Like, I did not feel the need to compete with other students, with other people, to get that level of what people consider high honor. Like, I was so content with like getting my work done, so content with submitting things when they needed to be submitted. And I really, worked on like relationship, and I respected people more than I respected like the thing or the task that they were asking me to do. And then the other side of that, which we talked about, he was like, once someone explained to me the why and the long-term benefit and like why I should care about a thing, that's when I care. If I couldn't see that, I'm like, for what? And this is basically what he said in that conversation. So, I was talking about that with him, and that kind of not contrasted, it segued or transitioned into a conversation that I had with a colleague this week. And we were talking about the whole like high achievement thing and high honor thing. And I was like, you know what? I am very much a high achiever. And she was like, you know what? Let me help you reframe that. And she was like, based on me knowing you, based on our conversations, and based on this very conversation that we're having at this table, you are someone who continually strives for growth, like continuous growth, continuous development, personal development. That is what you do. You're the person who does that. So I would encourage you, in her words, I would encourage you to consider that reframing. And I would encourage you to consider, how you approach that level of labeling, so that then as you are growing and building and striving and doing and just evolving, you have the mindset of growth versus the mindset of like, I'm a high achiever, therefore I just do.